and it's a sickness. I call it the cancer of the soul. And because people in adults especially, teenagers are different deal. They're more impulsive, but with adults, it's an accumulation of trauma and bad things, and eventually it snowballs. And if they haven't done anything about it, like counseling or anything about it, it can get to them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Lean Podcast, Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network. I'm your host, Mahogany, and this is Season 2. Let's start with a short prayer. God, I pray this season speaks to every heart listening. May these stories ignite purpose, restore hope, and remind each woman that she is never alone. Amen. Hey y'all, what is up? It's me, Mahogany, host of the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network podcast. And today I am here with Miss Daniela. Daniela, thank you so much for being here. Y'all, Daniela is a coach, she is a teacher, she's a mom, and I met her, how long ago? At least 8 years ago.
Yeah, at least 8 years ago, yes.
Yes, we were just trying to get it together and play with numbers. And y'all, when I met her, she was at a very vulnerable part of her life. And I've seen her and I've stayed connected with her through Facebook throughout the years. And I've been able to watch her kids grow up, and it's just been an amazing thing because she's to me, the epitome of a woman who takes what they've been through to help pass it back to others. And that's why I really wanted to meet with you and interview you, because I know a lot of times we as women find ourselves in hard situations, and a lot of women, they get stuck in that and they can't overcome it. They either will turn to substances or distractions, and some even take their own lives. And I know that you have done none of those things, and you decided to take all the pain and things that you even experienced in childhood and be a legacy. So y'all help me welcome Miss Daniela.
Well, thank you so much for your words. And like you said, my husband passed away by suicide 8 years ago. And my mission since he passed away, and it was obviously all of a sudden, nobody expected it. My kids were 6 and 8 years old at the time, is to make sure his death wasn't in vain. So what I did is I empowered myself with learning about suicide and why people do it and the signs of suicide. And just I went to a lot of support groups, and I talked to a lot of educators in that subject because I wanted to have a lot of information to answer my kids when they got older, because I knew questions were going to come. There were questions when they were little, but at that level, 6 and 8. But then as they got older, now they're teenagers, there's more questions, and I wanted to at least be prepared to answer those. And also, my thinking was, if I learned something from this and I can save one life, at least it's something amazing. I mean, hopefully more, but at least, So instead of a suicide, it's a very taboo subject. People don't want to talk about it. They think it's a shame, and it's none of that. But I understand that not everybody's the same, so I chose to be open about it, because it's also better for my kids if I'm open about it. It's just kind of like, it's not like, oh my gosh, he died by suicide. No, it's like, yeah, he was mentally sick, and it's a sickness. I call it the cancer of the soul. And because, people, in adults especially, teenagers are different deal. They're more impulsive, but with adults, it's an accumulation of trauma and bad things, and eventually it snowballs. And if they haven't done anything about it, like counseling or anything about it, it can get to them. And even some people have died by suicide, even doing counseling, taking medications, doing a bunch of stuff. So it's not like, I believe it's not just preventable for everybody. Although we think maybe if I should have done this, or if he or she should have done this. But I believe, based on what I learned and going to tons of support groups and listen to like hundreds of stories, that not every case could have been prevented.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that, y'all. The illness of the soul, is that how you put it?
The cancer of the soul.
The cancer of the soul.
So you can't see it. You can't see it. And that's the thing. Like when my kids were 6 and 8, and I had to tell him that dad died, he was sick. He's like, Daddy didn't look sick. He wasn't sick. Why he didn't go to the doctor? Because that type of sickness you don't see.
Yeah, and I, met you guys, and I got to meet your husband, your late husband, David.
Yeah.
And it was him even saying, I know I need some help. So even when you're told that I need help, you still can't save everybody.
It's one of the things I try to help him so much, and I learned that if the person, first of all, they have to recognize they have a problem. If it's with substance abuse, whatever the case may be, until the person recognizes they have a problem, and then they do something about it. Yes, but when they have a hard time accepting, okay, I do have a problem, it's hard to get help. And I learned that if a person doesn't want to get help, if they don't want to help themselves, nobody can help them. And that's the part that I try to get him help, and he never took the step.
Was this your first experience with suicide?
Yes. I don't have a family history of suicide or anything, and I mean, I heard of other people, like I knew people not so close to me, but acquaintance that they have done it, or somebody's father, but it wasn't anything that close to to me.
Yeah. And if you don't mind sharing the details of how you had to experience finding him and things like that, and how you feel those things impacted your healing journey, if at all.
Yes, yeah. So it was one of the things that, there's signs of suicide, but like a normal person, you don't know him. I mean, I didn't know him. And even if you know him, I don't know if it can be preventable too. For example, the night before we were outside, the kids were riding bikes, we were playing, and he says, I'm such a bad influence on everybody. Well, that's a sign of suicide. I didn't know. So they feel like the world is much better off without them. And so I was like, oh, everything is going to be okay. We weren't dead, and just things were in a very, he was in a very low place. And I said, listen, there's no way but up from here, okay? You're very down there, okay? Now we're gonna work hard. I get to job, you get to job. With one we pay debt, with the other one we just pay bills. I was always trying to find a solution to a problem. I just been like that for a long time. It's like, okay, what's the problem? Okay, let's find a solution. And I was just trying to encourage him to we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get out of this, no problem. And then the next morning, basically, he took our daughter to school, and I took our son to school, and then I went to work, and he was out of the job, so he was at the house trying to find jobs, and he was gonna have breakfast with his mom that morning, and he never showed. And he wasn't the type of guy that wouldn't show. He'll tell you, I can't make it. The mom is calling me at work and says, where's David? He didn't show up for breakfast with me. And I'm like, I don't know, he's at the house, he's not answering his call. So I took off work at lunch and came to the house, and then nothing in my mind was telling me, oh, he took his own life. That was the last thing in my mind. It was a totally shock for me when I came in the house, and he had a note saying, I'm in the downstairs bathroom, this door is closed, no children, please. And then I came in, obviously by myself, and I found him, and he was laying down, and I thought, oh my gosh, he drank too much, got drunk, and fell on the shower. And then when I walked to him and I saw there was blood and a huge knife next to him, I thought, oh, this is terrible. So that's when I immediately called 911. And then and I was like, what do I do? Because it wasn't a CPR scene, but it's like you're in shock and you just can't believe it. Anyway, and they got here really fast, and he was gone. And then you go through shock. I mean, it's just weird how the body functions, because you go through an automatic pilot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and my kids, I'm thinking about my kids in their school, and then the school sent a psychologist to the house. We went to get him and told them that their dad had passed away, not by suicide yet, because we needed time to breathe and regroup and see how you're gonna tell a 6 and 8 year old that. And immediately I say, I gotta be a role model for my kids. And our mental health is the main thing. if your mental health is not right, nothing matters. So I immediately seek counseling for me and for the children immediately. And the school district was really good about sending us to counseling for a year. And so that was kind of like my quick thinking immediately. What do I need? And I was like, now it's like, okay, my kids, they only got me. I have to be healthy. I have to pull us through. And then as the days went by and the weeks, and then you start finding out like, oh, he was $100,000 in debt, and oh, this he didn't pay, the homeowners, the insurance, or he didn't do this, and you start discovering more stuff. Yeah. So literally, I was working as a PE teacher at school, not making that much. Literally, when people say you gotta take one day at a time, it's literally one day at a time. Because I have to train myself not to think what's gonna happen tomorrow. I have to think about right now. Okay, right now I'm doing this, we can do this, and basically it's literally like that. And then eventually you just start putting one foot in front of the other. But my focus was on my children, and I said, I need to stay healthy. I need to stay healthy for them because I'm the only person they have. Right. So that was always my, and I grew up I was an athlete, so I was never into drugs or alcohol. I was always very good. So I think that also helped me because, you didn't have that to fall back on. I didn't have that to fall back on. And I grew up, my dad died when I was 7 of cancer. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with a mom and a sister. We grew up very limited, but it was never, we had that victim mentality of like, oh, poor us, or poor me. Oh, I want to do this because my dad died. And I talk to my kids about that a lot. It's like, tragedy does not have to define who we are. Wow. And you can rise above. And I always said, make your daddy proud. Make decisions, make your daddy proud. So I try to, because I don't want any of us to fall into like, oh, poor us. Yeah. No, we're gonna get up. Yeah, sometimes people go through hard times and you need a hand. Okay? People need a little boost, right? But you can't live in a victim mentality. No.
Wow, so talking more about your childhood a little bit and seeing your mom push through, hi, we have friends, guys. We have friends here. Seeing your mom push through raising you and your sister. So for you, was she someone who you really looked up to and someone who you feel like you tried to make proud as well as a mother?
Yes. Also, my mom did it with zero education. She went to 3rd grade and in elementary school, that's it, because her parents believed that, you need to work. So one thing that I saw her working so hard, 2 or 3 jobs and cleaning houses and doing it, which is nothing wrong with that. But I always told myself, I gotta get an education. I gotta, break the cycle of my family because I was the first one to graduate from college in my family. So also, growing up in that environment, it pushed me to do better if I could.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Where do you see yourself in the future as your kids are growing and going to graduate soon? What does y'all's life look like, and how do you move forward past such tragedy?
So I think what it has helped me is going to a bunch of support groups and tell my story, because it helped me heal. And also, if I feel like I'm helping somebody, it's a good feeling. It's just a good feeling. So I created actually a 14-minute professional video telling our story of May 5th of 2017. And I see myself maybe going around the country and speaking about suicide and the signs that I miss, and hopefully hearing that, oh my gosh, your story saved somebody or helped somebody. That would be something that is unexplainable. Inside here, it makes you feel good. I don't know what the future holds, but I work hard to teach my kids to be good citizens. If you follow life, which everybody does at one point or another, it's inevitable, but you get up. And if you fall 100 times, you get up 101 times. And I put that in my business. I have a small business. I teach kids how to ride a bicycle with training wheels. And it's not just the riding the bike that I teach. I teach them the same thing. When you fall, you get up and we try it again. And learning how to ride a bike is not instant gratification by any means. It's hard work that pays off. And because with the new generation of kids that they want everything push a button and be done, and they come to my classes and but this is hard. I said, yes, it is hard, and you're gonna be able to do it because you can do hard things. So I used a lot of the verbiage on that to teach them how to ride a bike. So hopefully something will stick. That life is hard.
I love it. I love how you're changing lives through your own tragedies.
Yes, yeah. I didn't have a really easy upbringing. Like I say, growing up with a single mom, it was in South America, third world country, not many opportunities. So when I had an opportunity to get a scholarship to come to the United States and play soccer and tennis and a full scholarship, of course I took it right away. But I came to college with $200 in my pocket for the first year because thinking, I have my bed to sleep, I have books to study, and I have food on the table. What else do I need? Mm-hmm. So ignorance really helped me because I thought, I have $200. If I get sick, I just go to the doctor, So, so the ignorance helped me because not knowing, how much it costs to go to the doctor. So, but I survived my first year. It was extremely hard. And then the second year when I started babysitting and doing some stuff just to, make some money. So, but at the first year I didn't go out to eat with friends. I didn't go out to movies. I didn't do anything because I had to save those $200 just in case I got sick. No. And I was very disciplined, to do that. And somehow I, graduated in 4 years and got a degree in health and exercise science. And that's why I went into PE, which is my passion to, fitness and children. That's my passion.
Oh, I love it. I see your heart all over that.
Yeah.
How does one persevere, how does one maintain discipline and persevere through, emotionally not being okay? I know you can't really be well and perform well, but how do you, push through those blocks and keep that discipline even when emotionally you're not okay? So,
because I didn't have a choice. I have two small kids, and I couldn't just lay in bed and cry all day because somebody needed to work to pay the mortgage, to feed them, so it wasn't an option in my mind. And but since we started counseling right away, I think that helped a lot because at least I had my time to go and cry, to go and and let my emotions out. And then I did also trauma therapy, but I was proactive. I didn't have PTSD since I found him, and it was not a pretty scene. But I went ahead and did a trauma therapy because I didn't want to wait to have maybe PTSD to do something about it. So I went and I remember clearly with a therapist, and I'm telling her, my life is so sad. My dad died, and I grew up with a mom, and I'm by myself, and I'm my husband, and my kids, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, poor me kind of thing, which sometimes everybody needs that. And she listens to me, and she goes, I understand that. Now, put your boots on, and you gotta keep going. And that's exactly how I take life. I mean, I give myself a chance to feel sorry sometimes about my situation because it's okay. But then I say, hey, that's it. I cry, I let it out, but now tomorrow's a new day. I gotta go to work because my kid needs to eat. There's no option. There's no option. So it's something inside me that, just keep me going.
Yes, I love it.
I mean, if I didn't have the kids, I don't know what the situation would have been. Right. Nobody knows, but when you have two little ones looking up to you and you're the only thing they have, it just gives you the strength, I guess, to get up in the morning.
No other choice but to get it.
No, there's no choice. Exactly, there's no choice. And I tell you, a lot of friends say, go tell your doctor to put you on an antidepressant right away. And it's like, no, I gotta be me. I have to function me. I have to be clear. And again, I'm not against antidepressant. I think a lot of people need it. I'm not speaking badly about that. In my situation, particularly in my situation, I wanted to be me 100% because I didn't have a choice.
Right. You couldn't have no room for mistakes.
No, exactly.
Side effects,
exactly. Say, I don't feel good, I'm throwing, or I don't know. But no, I gotta get up and I gotta go to work. I gotta be healthy. I gotta exercise. I gotta eat well. I gotta take care of my kids. So that's kind of how,
I love how you're so positive driven. I'm sure you have your negative moments, but it's no, we're going to be successful. I'm not going to fail at this.
Yes. Well, I don't know if that's something that I was born, but it's always if you throw me a problem, I try to find a solution. And it's not always easy, obviously, especially when I put in a situation where, he passed away and it's there's so much debt. I don't make that kind of money. But slowly, you start focusing on, okay, what needs to be taken care of first. At one point, so he passed away here at the house, unfortunately. And then, so I had 3 choices to make. Our AC breaks because, when it rains, it pours. So,
Yeah.
And it was May, it was already getting hot. So our AC broke. Our front door didn't lock. I had a toilet leak. I had to pay mortgage. And on top of that, I had to clean the shower where I found it with all the blood. And that was like a crime scene type of thing, like a company that you gotta call. So they told me, the crime scene, like, homeowners insurance paid for that. I said, okay, good. So I called the company, they came. 3 hours, it was $3,600 for the bill, okay? And so it was that, okay, so then 2 days later I found out that my husband stopped paying homeowners insurance. So we didn't have it. So now I had to pay that bill, pay mortgage, fix the AC. So I says, okay, I can borrow some fans so we can be cool in the house. The AC is not getting fixed right now. There's no way. I called the crime scene company and I says, listen, I am gonna pay you. It's just not right now because I just found out that this happened. I am gonna pay you, but please give me some grace here, give me some time. And they were very good working with me because this stuff happens a lot with, people. And then I said, but we gotta pay mortgage because we gotta stay in the house. We need the house. So I kind of okay, I pay the mortgage. The next month, I had no idea how mortgage was gonna get paid, but at least that month I said, okay, now I have a month to breathe. Now, AC can still wait because with fans, we will figure it out. I grew up without AC.
Yeah, so I know what this is.
I know what this is like. This wasn't, but
You'd be okay.
Yeah, it'd be okay. So that had to wait. But then, I wanted to pay. Obviously, they did the job, and and I believe that you don't just not pay people. I'm really honest. So, actually, at the time, I was a PE teacher working inside a church, and actually, that church they reached out to me and said, listen, we have some emergency funds. Do you have any bills? I said, yes, I have this one. And I put that company in contact with the church and they took care of the bill. So that was a blessing.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, that was a blessing. And I told the church, I don't want any money. I just, it's just, if you guys can deal with that directly, that'd be great. Because I'm not a person who's going to take advantage of a situation, of a terrible situation, and says, I can get all this money.
Right.
No, I just didn't want to touch anything. So that was a blessing that, the community around here really came together to help out in the time that we needed most.
There's nothing like a good community.
Yeah, yes, no, absolutely.
This is a great community.
It is a great community. And I also I do a lot of stuff with children's, with families, children in this community. So I'm known for teaching kids how to ride a bicycle or teaching them at a school. So that was a blessing.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to anything you can pass down to another woman who may have gone through something tragic or traumatic and she just feels like there's no other options for me but to fail, what is your words of encouragement for her?
Yeah. It's okay to fail. That's how we learn. Because when you fail, we all do at one point or another in life. But as long as if you fail 80 times, get up 81 times and try it again. I mean, because there will be a way out. Imagine looking at a dark tunnel, right? It is so dark, but look at it hard enough and you're gonna see just a little light, because there's always a light. You just have to find that light. And it might take weeks, days, weeks, months, but it's gonna work out. And it's not gonna be on our time, unfortunately, because trust me, there's things that, but, and also, other stuff that I learned is ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. If you don't ask for help, people don't know you need help. And it's okay. What's the worst thing that can happen is say, sorry, I can't help you. But at least you let somebody know that you need help.
Yes, I love that. So when it comes to forgiveness, what are some words that you could give to the women if they have someone in their life that they have to forgive? I just feel like in my mind, my first thought is, I think I would just feel so angry with the way I was left by my spouse, or even the way, or just all that. So how have you been able to deal with forgiveness or overcome those feelings.
Yeah. When I understood why David died by suicide, all the trauma that he had and the trauma since he was a child, I mean, I really understood why he did it. So I really, I mean, I went through being upset, being sad for him, being upset with him, but I truly understood that he didn't want to leave, he just didn't know how to stay. And that's like a suicide quote that I read in his Anonymous. It's really like, so I know why he died, why he wanted to die so badly. And so I don't really have like that in my heart, you know, because I understood he could not find a way to heal and to cope with life. And I understood something that happened, but in some others that probably I will never know. So knowing that, I think he's in a better place.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Any last words that our audience should just know, or anything that just on your heart to share? You've shared so much already, and it's even been helpful for me.
I think like, you know, if on the suicide topic, if you always check with people, say, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? Do you need to talk about something? Because sometimes we take for granted, we assume people are okay. And I'm not saying you saying that is gonna save somebody's life. It might does, but you never know the effect that might have on someone. It says, oh wow, they really genuinely wanted to know if I was okay. You know, because people sometimes go in silence and they don't say anything and they're suffering and they're crying. And also like this, just think there's always a way out. And there's someone in this world that loves you. It could be your parents, your siblings, your cousin, somebody. You matter. You matter to your community, to, you know, maybe to people that sometimes we have no idea we matter, and we do. So there's always a way out.
Thank you. Well, y'all, Ms. Daniela, I know that people can find you if they need to find you. Do you have any details of how they can search you?
Yes. Yeah. So my email is danielahudson@me.com, which is DANIELAHUDSON@me.com. That's my email. And then if anybody has any questions or anything, I'll be more than happy to answer it the best that I can. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not like a therapist or anything. I'm just like a normal person that's been through something horrific and try to learn from it so I can help other people.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.